Welcome to the Own It Show. I'm Heather Lee Chapman, your holistic performance and business coach. And I'm so excited to be here with you all today. It's time to stop sacrificing your health and freedom and start scaling your results in your business and all areas of your life. Here at Own It Empire, we help entrepreneurs become high performers and increase their awareness so they can increase their impact and create profitable business online so that you can truly own it. All right, welcome back to the Own It Show. I'm Heather Lee Chapman, your host and coach. And today we have special guest Melissa here, and she is going to be teaching us how to own our lives and live in Solution City. She's a friendly toxin slayer, helping people achieve total health. So grateful to have you today, Melissa. Please tell us more about you.
I'm so happy to be here. Thank you very much for having me, Heather. And yes, I jokingly call myself the friendly toxin slayer because that is way more fun than integrative health practitioner. And what I mean by friendly toxin slayer is I help people detox their physical body, their emotional body, their mental body, and their spiritual body. And that's important because by the time symptoms show up in our physical body, they've already moved through the other three bodies. So we start the healing process in the physical body, and then we also have to clear in the upper three bodies. How many people do you know that have had some kind of health crisis and they've overcome it only to find out a couple years later they've got symptoms happening again and they get another diagnosis, right? And that's because the initial time only the physical body was addressed. And then now the symptoms are coming back because the mental body or the emotional body or the spiritual body, something's out of alignment. We've got stuffed down emotions. We've got toxic thoughts running through our head. And that's generating more symptoms because those bodies are going, hello, hello, you didn't address me. You need to bring me into alignment too. And so this is the work that I do when I'm working with clients one-to-one. And I also love training other people in these powerful modalities, working with the unconscious mind, which I know you know all about as well, as that's how we met.
Yes, absolutely. So, Melissa is a teacher trainer in NLP, timeline therapy, and hypnotherapy. And we both were assisting with the timeline therapy at a friend's practitioner course. And that's how we met. And as soon as I heard her talking, I knew we just had to have her on the show because she treats people like a whole mind, body, soul, and spirit. And it is what I see is the biggest gap in the market. People are not being treated like a whole. We're addressing the physical, or you even have people who are so spiritual and emotionally in state is all well, yet they're ignoring the physical. And we actually came here to be manifestor gods and master manifesting in the physical. And that actually means we have to also mind the physical body. So I love that you take the integrative health approach and help people truly own it in all areas of their life so they can reach their full potential and truly live life with optimal performance and optimal health. And so you say total health. So I love that so much. And I'm so grateful to have you on the show to share your tips today. And before we dive into your credible zone of genius, we always want to inspire our conscious entrepreneurs in the audience to get on the journey, stay on the journey, and also thrive on the journey. Only 12% of the population is willing to do what it takes to be an entrepreneur, and even less than that are conscious, helping put people and planet over profit and earning profit and never at the expense of humanity. And I know that you're one of the incredible people doing that. So tell us about your entrepreneur journey and all the things you have going.
So, as with every entrepreneur journey, it's never a straight line. It has its, bends and twists and curves along the way. And so I literally started as a health coach and I love to learn. And from becoming a health coach, I knew that there were more ways to healing. In fact, there's, never just one way to heal, which is why I always recommend to people get second opinions, get third opinions. It's your right, it's your body, it's your health. And so I continued learning. And each step of the way, as I was learning, I was introduced to someone else. So I went from being a health coach to an integrative health practitioner and being able to offer functional medicine lab testing. And then from there became an integrative mind body health practitioner, which I don't say very often because it's quite the mouthful. And that's where I did all of my training in NLP, timeline therapy, hypnotherapy, and NLP results coaching. And I spent a lot of time working one-to-one with people, helping them regain their health, which was incredibly powerful. However, I also realized I could have greater impact by working with groups. And that's when I became a trainer and train other coaches, practitioners, counselors in these powerful tools so that we can have more people out there helping the general population come back into balance in all four bodies, because that's where we achieve total health. And alongside all of that, talking about impact as an entrepreneur, I also started a nonprofit called Girls Matter. And Girls Matter, we literally break the poverty cycle, one girl, one family, one village at a time, by keeping girls in school in Uganda and Kenya. High school education is not free in those countries, and it often comes down to families having to make the difficult choice of, do I educate my girls or do I put food on the table? And they can't do both. And so we fundraise to support the education of the girls who want the education. And when we educate the girls, it has this powerful ripple effect, because an educated girl is more than twice as likely to ensure her own children are educated. So there's a generational ripple effect. And educating the other half of the population helps bring those countries out of poverty because it raises the GDP. A stat that I saw in the documentary that triggered this, the documentary is called Girls Rising, and the stat that really hit home was that if India could educate just 1% more girls, they would grow their GDP by $5.5 billion.
Oh my goodness.
And so I realized in that moment, therein lies the answer. We educate the girls, we bring countries out of GDP, we can bring the planet into balance, because none of us thrive until all of us thrive. And so that nonprofit was triggered more by my volunteer work with Girl Guides and taking the girls to see that documentary many years ago on International Day of the Woman, or International Day of the Girl. And initially, I didn't even know how to start, and I didn't do anything. And I was in the corporate world then. And when I got into the entrepreneurial world, because I got let go from my 24-year career and decided I'm going to do this on my own, I'm not going to work for someone else anymore. And that's when my personal growth journey started. And that's where my learning and desire to learn was reignited. And that's where I developed tools to actually be able to start a nonprofit. And one of those things was owning my why and recognizing that I need to share that. I need to put it out into the world, because when I put it out into the world, the universe provides. And I reached out to the only two people I knew that had started a nonprofit in BC. And I asked them, can you help me get this started? Teach me how. And they said, what do you want to do? And I told them, and they said, we'll do it with you, and let's piggyback it on the nonprofit they already had, which was preschools in this region. And they had staff. And so within a month we launched. And sometimes that's all it takes. And it was simply because I started speaking it and I put it out into the world. So I'm very proud of that. And now in October of this year, I launched Amplify Impact Academy with my training partner. We've launched it as a training school, and 10% of all of our revenues goes to Girls Matter, which we're very proud to donate.
That's incredible. I love the journey. I love how you decided to go out on your own, and then you had your own healing journey. And along that, you're able to add more and more tools into your tool belt to serve even more people. And now you get to train others to do the same, which is incredible. And you're making this world such a better place with the positive impact, with the charity. What an incredible, incredible gift. Thank you so much for doing that. And may we empower each and every woman in this world and every single one of us, because I 100% agree. Human ascension means we all win or nobody wins.
Exactly. And the beautiful thing now is that, we're both in Canada. The CRA last year changed the rules because we're a nonprofit. So we now can give tax receipts. We do that through a company called GiveWise. And if you just go to our website, girlsmatter.ca, people can set up a subscription donation. So you could donate $5 a month, $10 a month, give up one cup of coffee at Starbucks or wherever a month and donate that to Girls Matter. And that will help support us keeping the girls in school, providing menstrual supplies so they can actually go to school every day of the month. And you know, do you miss $10 a month when you set it up as a subscription? Most people don't. And you'll know that you're helping someone else and help all of us rise together. So thank you.
Of course, and not only the magic of giving back for the sake of, serving all. I also heard a statistic that when you give 10%, some people, depends on where the revenue is, it could be 1%, it could be 10%, it comes back to 1.6 times. And so, whether that's spiritually, energetically, however you want to believe that works, there is a statistic that says it does come back. So, isn't it amazing that we can help everybody thrive and it comes back in return?
Yes, absolutely.
I love
Absolutely.
it. I love it. Well, incredible, incredible work. So tell us again what that website was where they can go and donate today.
It's girlsmatter.ca.
Love it. So girlsmatter.ca. Check that out right now and start helping more women thrive and the world become a better place. And so let's dive into your incredible tips. I'm super excited for them. And I know you've got a quote for us, which is also one of my favorite and on my vision board. So absolutely love it. So let's dive into tip number one. You are creating your reality every day.
Yes. And when I learned this, it was kind of like the emoji with the little puppy dog ears that you go, eh? Because I'd never thought about it before. However, it made so much sense when I learned it. And the reality is that every single day we are taking in 12 million bits per second of information, which is so much information for our brain to be processing. And in fact, it's too much. And so what happens is it deletes and distorts and generalizes down to a manageable amount of only 128 bits per second, plus or minus a few there. And it deletes, distorts, and generalizes through our filters. Now, every single human being has the same categories of filters. However, the content within them is entirely different because no two of us have ever lived identical lives. Now, those categories are how we move through space, time, energy, matter, as well as our language, our beliefs, our decisions, our memories, our meta programs, the basis of our personalities, our values. And so you can see how, as we've each gone through our lives, the information stored in those filters is different for every one of us, literally as different as our fingerprints. And so as our mind is compressing from 12 million bits per second to 128 bits per second, it's going, yep, don't need that, don't need that, don't need that. Oh, I'll keep that, don't need that, don't need that. Oh, I'll keep that. And then it stores that as a memory. And we can pull up that memory in the internal representation or the movie screen in our mind's eye. And that's what we remember about that event. Now, you can go to an event with 49,999 other people to a concert, and what you leave and share about that concert to your friend that asks you, how was the concert, can be completely different to what your other friend that went to the concert with you decides to talk about. And we experience this all the time. For instance, have you ever been to a family reunion and somebody in your family starts talking about an event that happened 5 years ago, and they start sharing their version of reality, and you go, wait, that's not what happened. This is what happened. And they're like, no, this is what happened. We've all had this, right? I know I have. And I used to literally think they were wrong and I needed to be right. And I also started to wonder, what's wrong with their memory? Until I learned this. And then I realized there's nothing wrong with their memory. They're sharing their version of reality, their truth of that event. And I have mine, and they're going to be different because our filters are different. And so that's what I mean by you are creating your version of reality every day. And here's the great thing. If you don't like your reality, we can use these powerful tools of the unconscious mind to shift it for you. I love to ask, are you running the horror show or are you running the love story? That depends on your filters. And we can change them if you are running the horror show and you want to switch it to the love story.
I
And
love
that's the power of this first tip, is just accepting the fact that I'm creating this and I can shift it.
Yeah, and I love that so much. And I always like to remind people there is no make wrong, because when I was first taught this, I thought, well, I didn't create that. And there is no make wrong. Nothing's good, bad, right, or wrong except for what you make it. It's just simply a compilation of where your thoughts, feelings, actions, beliefs, and conditioning have been previously, that are unconsciously creating the results and the reality. So, what if you could start to consciously shift it? And this is where people like us, who are unconscious coaches, get to help you work with the unconscious mind and make an effort to actually change those filters that everything is running through. And in our human potential and performance class in university, we were shown the basketball awareness test. Now, this blew my mind because he wanted to explain to us of how these filters were working, and where your focus goes, energy grows. And so in the test, if anyone's ever done it, I usually show it in my workshops. It's two basketball teams, and you have to count the passes. And so we go through the class, everyone's shouting out 12 passes, 13 passes. And then it finishes and they go, but did you see the moonwalking bear? Excuse me. And so there was a man in a bear costume moonwalking through the basketball game, yet nobody sees him because it gets deleted, because that's not where your focus is. You were told to count the passes of the team with the white shirts on. And so that's what you did. And that's where your brain focused. And so it deleted a full grown human being moonwalking through the basketball game in a bear costume. And that's what's happening every single day. So the information that you're taking in, it gets deleted, distorted, and generalized. And part of that has to do with your beliefs and your filters, and also where your focus is. So if we're focused on the horror story, then it's going to delete all the good stuff and show you the horror story. And that's where the conscious part comes in, where you consciously start to shift where your focus is, your energies, and your thoughts, and you start to be aware of the autopilot that's going on in the unconscious mind, and for us to be able to start to shift it. Because I wonder how many things we've and opportunities maybe we've even missed in our life because our focus was one way and our filters were another way, and we could have had an incredible opportunity, and maybe we were on victim island, which goes to the next tip. So dive into that and explain, what does it mean to choose to live on the victim island or in solution city?
So, victim island is when we are at the effect of life, when we believe life is happening to us. It's where we have excuses of no time, no money, no energy. We're living in the drama and we're repeating our victim story. In fact, we might even be having margarita parties where we invite all our friends over so we can all share our sob stories together. And we're procrastinating. We're using language like trying, not doing. And where our focus is on that victim story. We're camped on victim island. Because as you just said, you get more of what you focus on. Whereas where I love to bring people to is to have them recognize, okay, until now I have been on victim island and I can get off it. I can get to Solution City. Solution City has beautiful views from high-rise condo towers, and the restaurants are way better, and you can walk into any store in Solution City and just put on your personal power suit and stand in your magnificence, and it's all free. Because this is where you're at cause. This is where you recognize that life is happening for you. Even when you're in the crap, you can sit there and go, okay, how is this happening for me? What lesson am I supposed to learn here? Because when I learn the lesson, I move through the crap faster and I get back to Solution City. I don't end up camping on Victim Island. And life does happen. So when life happens and we end up at Victim Island, when we have the tools of Solution City, which is what Heather and I teach, that's when you can go, okay, I'm on Victim Island and I'm going to use my tools and I'm going to get back to Solution City way faster. And we love to joke that from Victim Island to Solution City, the first time you might be in a rowboat and you're rowing and you're rowing and it feels really hard getting to Solution City. And the next time you land on Victim Island, you notice it faster and there's a skidoo and you get to just zip right over, or a sea-doo, not a skidoo, a sea-doo, and you
Depends
zoom
on the
right back to
season in
Solution
Canada.
City. Exactly. I live in a ski town. That's why I said skidoo. You get the sea-doo back to Solution City, and the next time you're there, it's even quicker because you're getting practice with these tools. And now you've got the motorboat. You just zip back to Solution City. And in Solution City, that's where you are the creator of your results, of peace in your life, of creation. That's what we are all here in this life. We are the creators of our life, and recognizing that. It's the aha moment, which is that when the alignment comes in between our higher self and our unconscious mind and our conscious mind, and we get those downloads, and we're like, oh, that's what I'm supposed to be doing. It's when we're doing our best. That's the language we're using, and we're getting it done. And it's literally when we are standing in our power, in our magnificence. That's living in Solution City.
I love it. And so that's really speaking about the law of cause and effect.
Yes.
And choosing to be the cause and take responsibility no matter what. No make wrong, everything just is what it is. We take full responsibility. We get back onto Solution Island, and instead of being at cause and being at blame, we decide to be the cause and take responsibility. And this takes some serious mental toughness, because you'll actually have to look at what is the current state, what are the things that we don't like, what would we prefer, and what's that future state that we desire. And then we have to keep ourselves in the state of that future state, and the idea and the feelings and the actions, and how would I think, what would I do, how would I behave, what would the habits that version of me would have who lives in Solution City. In NLP, they call it to be on the hero's journey, to be the cause, to work with the universal laws and the unconscious mind. And as Melissa said, you are going to sometimes end up back on Victim Island. It's going to happen. It's part of the journey. And as soon as you go to set another goal, guess what? Immediately the unconscious mind's like, no, you stay safe, stay the same. And we'll all of a sudden find ourselves back on Victim Island. And with the more tools and the more training and the more conscious you can be of your thoughts, feelings, actions, behaviors, and beliefs, the quicker you can get back onto that hero's journey and get back into Solution City and get back into inspired action and into a state of possibility and faith, and truly into the life of joy, and not so much in the everyday, day to day struggle, because we really do lose or win in the mind first. And when we can stay focused on solutions and being solution oriented, then we can actually move things forward. And like you said, move through that crap faster, because there's always going to be stuff that's going to come your way to challenge you and grow. It's just the person who's willing to move through it that gets to come out on the other side. And yes, it's going to require you to get uncomfortable. The growth journey is a journey. It's not all rainbows and butterflies, although we wish it would be. And it's going to take something of you. And I promise you, it's worth it, because the version of you and the life that is available for you on the other side of it is truly the one you came here to live.
Absolutely. And I want to add to that the power of gratitude journaling, because we have a reticular activating system, and that's like the sentinel to the brain. And it's programmed to keep us alive and keep us out of danger. And it's also in touch with all of those filters. And so when you said, getting growth is uncomfortable, and it's also never convenient, by the way, it's because our mind, our brain is hardwired to keep us safe. And the moment we want to step outside our comfort zone, it doesn't know where we're going. It doesn't know if it can keep us safe there. And so it gives us those little butterflies and tries to keep us in our comfort zone. When we start to do a gratitude journal, though, we start to program our brain a little bit differently. And we, instead of looking for fear, which is what it's looking for to keep us safe and avoid the fear. Now we're looking for the gratitude. And as we do a gratitude journal, I recommend people do it right before bed, because the unconscious mind works on what you give it right before bed all night long. So now you're giving it these lovely, grateful thoughts and get a much more restorative sleep. As you start creating a habit of just writing down, start with 3 things you're grateful for every night. Now you're programming your reticular activating system to go out and look for things it can be grateful for during the day. And so you notice them, and that's where you're putting your focus. And so then you have more things that you get to be grateful for. And it's just this perpetual building of moving your life forward in a really positive way into the love story, instead of running that horror show over and over again. And a great analogy for the reticular activating system that all of you have experienced is when I bought my last car. It's a red Subaru Outback vehicle. Love it. It's great in the snow. I went down thinking I was going to buy a Honda or a Toyota because I'd had those cars before and I loved them, and I both of them. And a girlfriend had told me, you should go to the Subaru dealer while you're at the auto mall. And so I did. I'm there. I might as well try all the cars. And I got into the Subaru and I drove it and I loved it immediately. And I decided that was going to be the car. And the salesman said, oh, so many people in Whistler have Subarus. And I'm thinking, he's crazy. I've never seen a Subaru. And literally, I drove home and I started seeing Subarus everywhere. They weren't in my filters before because they didn't need to be there. And now that it was in my filter, I was noticing it everywhere. That's how our reticular activating system works. So I started my gratitude journaling about 8 years ago. And it's incredible the difference that it made. And I was at a conference at the end of the year, and somebody at the lunch table said, let's go around the table and everybody say one thing that's made a profound impact in your life this year. And I was like, whoa, that's a big question. What is it? And all of a sudden it just popped in, my gratitude journal. Because I'd shifted my reticular activating system, I literally was starting to walk through life as if I was walking on air, because I had so much to be grateful for. And life felt easy when I focused on what I was grateful for.
I love it. And Louise Hay calls it being a bliss bunny. She says,
There you
we're not
go.
always going to walk around but like a bliss bunny. And it's possible when we can switch our thoughts and we can switch to what we prefer and switch to that state of gratitude. And my favorite gratitude tool is The Magic by Rhonda Bryan. So it's a
Yes.
28-day gratitude practice.
I have that on my bookshelf over here.
I love them. I gifted it back to a friend who gifted it to me in 2014 when I was struggling, and it changed my life. And I've had a gratitude practice ever since. And it absolutely saved me post-concussion when I was in a really hard spot. And I literally watched my life change. And so then I decided I was going to do it for actually 20 days straight, not skip a day. And if you miss one, do what they say, like go back 3 days, what have you. So I get through 28 days. And I had been away. I missed my first class at nutrition school for a course because I'd been away at a brain injury course. And so the girl lets me know that day, oh, well, this is the second class. Today we have to put together, it was a business class, a vision board for our business. And I still had another client to see, and I was supposed to go right to class from there. So I'm like, oh no, I got to go home and make a project. But first I got to sit down and do my 28-day gratitude journal practice. And guess what it was that day? It was to make the vision board. And the synchronicities and the things that kept coming into place is exactly what you said. All of a sudden, it was like walking around like magic. That was the first month I'd had my highest grossing revenue that had beat at that time. All synchronicities started to fall into place. Life really started to be a lot more blissful. And they say the neurons that fire together wire together. So we actually start to strengthen that part of the brain to be on the hero's journey and not looking for the victim story in life. And so if there is one tool to help you get back onto Solution Island, I 100% agree. It is gratitude. And sometimes it's simply, I'm grateful for the breath I breathe today because it keeps me alive. Every day is a new opportunity. It could be so simple. And I have some staples. I absolutely love my car as well. So it's included in my gratitude every day. And then I just look at maybe what happened in the last 24 hours and I'll add in the gratitude from that as well. And I love that you suggest to do it before bed. Neville Goddard calls the unconscious mind the womb of creation. And
Mhm.
whatever you're putting into it, you're creating the next day. So he jokes that, you thought you woke up as a free being today, yet you get to choose to respond or react to the reality that you created with your thoughts from yesterday and what you put into the unconscious mind last night. So I love to finish, and I finish my day with an exercise that's from the magic. And of course, we're starting the day off asking what's the best that can happen. And so at the end of the day, we actually want to harvest the good and look at what was the best that happened. So you go through your day and you look at what you're grateful for. And you pick out what was the best thing that happened that day that you're the most grateful for. And it's an incredible way to get yourself into a state of gratitude before you hit the bed, and what you put into that womb of creation that's going to create your next day.
Yes, I love all of that. And I have the magic as well. And it's, yeah, as I said, I've been practicing it for 8 years, and it has literally shifted my life as well.
Yeah. I love it. I do that book every year, and maybe I will pick it up again over the holidays and do it, because it really, guys, it's called The Magic for a reason. If you don't have it, make sure you add that into your bookshelf, because it will change your life. And take it off the shelf, keep it on your desk, because you can just open it up any day and just pick a new exercise to do. So an incredible, incredible book. Highly recommend it. So now let's dive into my favorite quote in your final tip, which is on my vision board. So whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. And let's hear what is it about that you love, and what is the nocebo effect?
Well, that is a quote by Henry Ford. It is so simple and yet so profound. And if you just think about it, if you are sitting in high school math class, and in your mind, the story you're telling yourself is, I can't do this. This is hard. I don't get it. Cancel, cancel, cancel. Or are you telling yourself, I can do this. I'm going to work at it, and I'm going to learn it, and I'm going to ask questions until I understand it? Which student is going to do better in math class that year? Right? And you can take that and apply it anywhere in your life. You literally, if you think you can, you create the possibility. The moment you say, I can't, it shuts everything down. And so let's think we can, because then we get to possibility that takes us towards solution city. And the nocebo effect, people have heard of the placebo effect. And the nocebo effect is what happens when, if a doctor gives somebody a diagnosis and they say, you have 3 months to live, that programs that person's mind. If they start dwelling on the, I have 3 months to live, cancel, 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 they make that their reality. And I love the work of Bruce Lipton and his book, The Biology of Belief. And he talks about this in more detail there and mentions that it's completely glossed over in medical school, which is a shame, because doctors don't understand the power they carry when they tell people this. And so my tip is to always ask why, so you have understanding. And you can choose to not take on that story. You can say, no, 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 don't say that to me. I'm not taking it on. Say cancel, cancel, cancel. I'm going to be different. I'm going to do things differently. That doesn't have to be my story. That's just the statistic from someone else or other people. I believe I can overcome this diagnosis, et cetera, et cetera. And that is the starting point of your healing journey. You have to first believe you can. And that's how we move forward and we stay on Solution City, or in Solution City.
Yeah, so first you have to believe that you can. Uh,
Yes.
in the Modern Mystery School, we learn the 4 stages of manifesting. First, you generate new ideas, and then you have new thoughts about it. Then you put a plan into place and you take action. And if you've been through our Business Bliss workshop, you'll know that I teach a 5th stage, which is belief. Because as Napoleon Hill said, whatever the mind of the man can conceive and believe, it can achieve. And so it does require you to believe it. And so whatever it is that you are believing, you are helping to become true energetically and physiologically. So what if your thoughts could heal you? Or what if they could make you sick? And what if you chose to be in a state of possibility and choose positive thinking instead of the negative fear, worry, and doubt? And I just imagine, I dare you, what could happen if you gave that a try? And I'd love to see it for you. And this takes a conscious effort every day, all day, to always come back to the positive side of the coin and the state of possibility. And the more things you do, like meditation, yoga, breath work, cold plunging, because when you plunge, you can't be anywhere but now, from my
Yep.
experience, anyways. And
Yes, very
these are
true.
absolutely, especially in Canada in the winter. It's what helps you stay in the now, where you can actually be an observer of your thoughts. Because if you've read The Untethered Soul, for many of us, we go unconscious for periods of time, and we might get stuck on that victim island because we're believing that we can't. And so, the quicker you can switch back to that state of possibility and believing that you can, you're not only does energy start to work for you, your brain starts to work for you. And so there's so much magic in what you believe. So much that we actually studied the biology belief in psychology of disease in our nutrition school. And Dr. Bruce Lipton was criticized when he first came out with this and ridiculed. And now they teach it in university. It took him 20 years to prove it as a science, a study of epigenetics. And he's actually been a guest on Melissa's podcast, which is an incredible episode, by the way. Congratulations. So
Thank you.
we
Very exciting to have him on the show.
massive. Absolutely love it. So we'll make sure that we put her link for her podcast below so that you can check that out as well. And just know that we win or lose in the mind first, and things can change. It just requires you to change. And unfortunately, you're just not taught these things in school. You're not taught how to become a high performer, step into the next version of you, change and transform, and keep evolving. And that's where Melissa and I get to do that from a holistic perspective, to treat you as a whole, mind, body, soul, and spirit, and help you with your emotions and your beliefs and everything that has you stopped. So the first thing to get what you want is you actually have to know what it is. And then next, you have to release what has it blocked. And so we get the honor to be able to do that with our clients and be unconscious coaches. And so I dare you to believe that you can instead of that you can't. And what if just for today, you actually expected everything to work out for you? You stayed in a state of possibility, you believed in magic and miracles, and you actually asked the universe, show me what's the best that can happen. I wonder what magic might just come your way. I,
This is so powerful. One of our students that just completed our practitioner level training 2 weeks ago, she's a nurse. And she just put into our little group 2 days ago that she started working with one of the patients that she has in the hospital who hasn't got out of bed in months. She just started talking to her about, what is it that you want? What are your dreams? What would you like to do when you get up and leave this hospital? And they started talking about it, and they had a really great conversation about it. And the next day, the lady got up and got out of bed. And then she said yesterday, I can't believe the power of just shifting someone's thoughts, because the lady has continued to get out of bed. And the other nurses and doctors are like, whoa, what's happened? And she didn't do anything except ask her to start thinking about what you want. Because so often we get stuck in what we don't want. And that's where we get more of that, because that's where our focus is. And we have to understand that so we can shift our focus and go to what we want. So I love what you're saying here, Heather. Just dream that today can go perfectly all day long, and
yeah.
envision that and watch it unfold.
Yeah, because just what if today was the day
What
that
if?
changed the rest of your life? Just what if?
Exactly.
I love
Exactly.
it. And so, do you have a favorite book recommendation for our audience?
I have many. I have a whole bookshelf of books. However, and I had ideas that I'd given to you. However, based on this conversation today, I want to change them. And I'm going to say 2 books. One of them is called The Obstacle is the Way. And it's a beautiful short book. And it shows you how obstacles come into your life for you to learn something. And so we don't want to run away from the obstacle. We want to go through the obstacle because that's how we learn and that's how we move forward in our life. And then the other one is by George Pransky, and it's called The Secret to Mental Health, an operating manual for the human mind. And it's an incredible book as well, talking about the power of our thoughts.
I love it. The Secret of Mental Health. I haven't heard that one yet. I will definitely add that into my Audible book list. Thank you so much. And the obstacle is the way. I love that too. And it is true. We get to grow through the obstacle so we can become that person on the other side that has the capacity to not only get what we want, to also sustain it and grow from there. So I love that. Amazing. And now I know you've got an incredible gift for our audience. So tell us about the daily suggestions to your unconscious mind that they can grab right now.
Yes. So again, because our thoughts are so important, this is a virtual card deck. So you download it and then you play it on your phone. It'll just be scrolling and you take a screenshot of it. And that is your card pull for the day. And that message on that card is what you're going to focus your thoughts on for that day. So these are powerful, positive suggestions for your unconscious mind to start training you in shifting what thoughts you're running all day long.
I love that, because where your thoughts and focus goes, energy grows. So let's get it into that state of possibility and positivity. I'm going to download that immediately and figure out what is my affirmation for the day. I'm super excited. So what an incredible, incredible episode. So value packed. Was there anything else that you wanted to add for our audience today?
I just want to share with every single person how magnificent you are. You have it within you already. And unfortunately, as we go through life, other people might indicate otherwise to you. And you start to doubt yourself. And the reality is whatever anybody else has ever said to you is all about them and their beliefs of themselves. And it has nothing to do with you. And if you want to start a business and someone else has told you, you can't do that, cancel, 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 that's because they don't believe they can do it. And they don't have your passion and they don't have your skill set and they don't have your mission and your desire for service. And so they're right. They can't. You can. And so when you hear someone else say that, just cancel, 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 and keep following your dream.
I love that. So
everything you need to do it.
You have everything you need to do it. It doesn't matter what anyone else says. You have all the power in you. And it, as Bob Proctor would say, if you can hold it in your mind, you can hold it in your hand. And so we believe in you and we believe in the possibility of all your dreams. So thank you so much, Melissa. Incredible episode. Thank you for your wisdom, your time, and your energy.
It's my pleasure to be here. I love these conversations, as you call it, uncommon conversations that we want to make common. We want people to know the power of their own mind because it changes lives.
It does. So now that you know the chicken can't go back in the egg, I want you to dream and be in that state of possibility. So remember, stay happy, healthy, wealthy, expect magic and miracles. And what is the best that can happen? We'll see you on the next episode. Thank you.
Thank you so much for tuning into the Own It Show today. Make sure to leave a review and subscribe. We want to thank you for your time and energy and extend the invite for you to join us in the Own It community on Facebook, an incubator for conscious entrepreneurs so that they can step into their greatness. We have tons of free trainings and resources for you, as well as a great opportunity to network with people leaving a positive impact on this world. Make sure to come back for next week's show. Have an incredible day. Remember, expect magic and miracles. Stay happy, healthy, and wealthy.